Stefanovic, we've got you there for that moment of history. I was just looking at the scan of the crowd. We can see there we've got Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. We haven't seen them much on the campaign trail, but it's a big cast of supporters and family on the stage. What did you make of the speech?
Yeah, and I'll just open you up because it's getting pretty late, Peter, and it looks like people are heading for the exits pretty quickly. But it's a festive atmosphere, that's for sure. It's a little hard to hear you over the village people at the moment, but look, they're having a good time, and now they've got Donald Trump for the next 4 years.
I thought some of the lines that he was running there, the campaign, were rambling in part. I'll give him a break. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm sure he's had a long couple of days leading into the campaign. I know what it's like on election night. Even when you win, in part it's relief, but you're already focused on what's happening the next day. That line, promises made, promises kept, it doesn't get more emphatic than that, Pete Stefanovic.
Yeah, and so now we'll be re-examining all of his policies, Peter, including his bid to reduce company tax cuts to 15%. I mean, that was quite a staggering difference between him and Kamala Harris. She wanted to increase company tax rates and he wanted to drop them, which was interesting. And he's already made that threat to the Mexican government for them to do more work at the border, to stop the flow of illegal migrants coming from Mexico into the United States. Over the coming hours and the coming days also, Peter, it will be really interesting to see what European leaders make of Trump's return to the White House, because they've got concerns over defence spending. What's this going to mean for Ukraine? What's this going to mean for Russia? What's this going to mean for China? What's this going to mean for Israel and Gaza? What's this going to mean for NATO? All of these areas had been talked about in the lead up to a potential Trump victory, and there had been some concerns from Europe over that and what this might mean. So now they'll have to answer those questions, and Trump may well have to assuage concerns about that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be about reducing inflation and getting the economy going again, and also cracking down on the illegal crossings, as I was talking to you last night about. It's still upwards of 100,000 encounters every month, which is absolutely staggering. And he does have a big job ahead of him. But like you said there, the pointed remarks he had tonight, he says he's committed to cracking down on that and getting on with the job.
Yeah, it's interesting. If he can stem the illegal arrivals into the United States, that puts pressure on Europe and the United Kingdom, of course. If he does bring the tax rate down, the corporate tax rate down to 15%, that puts a lot of pressure on Australia to drop our corporate tax rate to be competitive. We know what he wants to do on energy. That's a game changer. He'll push back pretty hard on climate, as he did before. So beyond just the foreign policy landscape, the defence landscape, I think in a lot of economic terms, there'll be some very interesting waves that come across the Pacific, our wave. I just want to mention something too in relation to the Democrats. I mean, there'll be some bloodletting there, that's for certain. Could Biden have won? I doubt he could. Harris clearly did not. We go back to the Obamas, who took plenty of time to endorse Kamala Harris. They wanted an open convention. They didn't win out. Will they now hold the whip hand inside the Democrats? And just a little bit of, trivia, I suppose, for people at home. Come January 6th, when the Electoral College votes have to be formally endorsed and signed off, Kamala Harris will have to do that as the Vice President, because she's also the President of the Senate. So that'll hurt her, I suspect. Yeah.
I think you made a really good point. You touched on a good area there too, and we spoke about this last night as well, Peter. There have been a lot of people in the last week who I've spoken to about the primary process and the fact that the Democrats didn't have one, that Kamala Harris was basically anointed, and a lot of people thought that that was unfair, and that may well have come back to bite them, because perhaps she might have been exposed if they had a proper primary contest, and perhaps some other governors might have been a better pick, might they have been able to do or go further than Kamala Harris did this evening. And I'm looking at states such as Pennsylvania here. Pennsylvania obviously turning red this time. So again, this will all be part of that post-mortem that will that the Democrats will obviously go through now in the days, weeks and months ahead.
Yeah, and as I made the point at the top of the show too, Pete, a loss in their traditional base across women, across the black vote, it would appear tonight, across the Hispanic vote. She didn't get any of the ground that they'd hoped she would hit, and I think that will be part of their big post-mortem.